Now what I'd like to do is go over the settings aspect of texting inside the actual notifications. And so what you have here is you have the capability of turning notifications on and off, and then you have the capability of determining how many notifications would you like to have in your notification center. And then you can have a notification sound for the individual person for all text messages. This is a global thing. Then you get to have the choice whether or not you have a text message badge icon. And then right here you have show lock screen. Now what this is this is the way the text message looks when you receive it. I prefer the banner, but there's also none, and then there's also alerts. Now what this option does is allows you to whether or not you want to show a preview. That whether it's kind of nice to see a little bit about it, and if you don't, you just turn it off right there. And then here you can show alerts from everyone or show alerts from my contacts. This is an example if you didn't want to be bothered by people that aren't in your contacts. Like say as an example, maybe you're going to get a text message from your service provider, or you're going to get a text messages from somewhere else that you don't really want to be notified of, but you don't mind it going into your text messages. You just don't want it to be loud sound, and so you just go ahead and press that. Now what this next thing is this is you get to choose how many times, if you haven't read a message, it will actually alert you, and it repeats every 2 minutes. Now moving down a little bit farther in the settings app down to the messages tab, what we can do is we can turn on and off iMessages. And this is something that you're going to want to do if you decide to ever stop using iOS devices, if you decide to go to Android or just a feature phone. That's something you're going to want to do, turn that off so that this phone number can go ahead and be freed up to be used by another phone. Okay, text messages will be forwarded to other devices, and what this is this is like if you want to have the continuity aspect set up with your Mac, you can have text messages forwarded to your Mac. Now moving up here, this is whether or not you want to have read receipts. This is just lets people know what time you read your text message. I like to do that, but that's a privacy thing. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. And then whether or not you want to send it as a SMS. If iMessage is not available, it just would send over the SMS, but SMS is something to think about. That goes against your phone service as opposed to over the internet. Okay, and then send and receive to 3 different email addresses. What this right here is basically is like my caller ID. I can receive text messages at multiple different places, but only one of them is my actual caller ID. So everybody sees and gets their text messages from me from my phone number. You can choose an email address or a different phone number, whatever you have set up. But SMS/MMS. MMS is basically where you can send pictures and videos and stuff like that. Group messages is like what I showed you earlier, where I was texting my wife and my mother. And here is whether or not you want to actually show the subject field. And of course, if you're worried about it, you can have a character count. And then what this one is this allows you to block calls, block the actual real call, the SMS, the text message, and the iMessage, and the FaceTime. All right. And what this does is this maintains your history of your text messages for a certain period of time. You can say forever or 30 days. Or a year. I personally recommend that you choose whatever you want, but understand this: your text messages, especially with the pictures and the videos and stuff like that, that after a while really starts to make your iPhone full of data when you may not want that. And so it's just something to think about. A lot of times people have storage issues, and that's something to think about. So you just can turn that down to like maybe 30 days, and then everything would go away. Now, earlier I showed you how to do audio text messages to each other, and what this does is this sets how often they expire. This says, it expires in 2 minutes or after 1 year. It's kind of nice. And then what this next one is raise to listen. Basically, you just pull it up to your face when you get one of those, and automatically it starts playing. Very neat. Okay, and this next one is video messages. They set to expire, again, 2 minutes or 1 year. Okay. And what I've done is gone from general into usage. And then what I'm doing is I'm looking up storage. This takes a long time for it to take a look at what you've got. But what I would like you to know is if you look at each individual app, this particular one I'm looking at is messages. It shows that there's 21 megabytes worth of data sitting on my phone that's being used by this particular app. And so this is something to think about. If you're 21 megabytes, that's nothing. But if you're up above, like a gig or 2 gigs, you might start thinking about going ahead and deleting all of those extra text messages. Basically, what you have is you have a lot of video, audio, and stuff like that, pictures inside your actual text messages that you might want to go ahead and get rid of. Just something to think about. Okay, well, we'll conduct our class for today. I hope you had learned something and have a good day.